Well, you see it in any major city, and Little Rock is no different.
Hundreds of homes and businesses sitting boarded up and vacant, posing safety hazards to nearby neighbors.
All new tonight at 10, we're looking at ways the city hopes to fix it.
But there's no overnight solution, and THV 11's Brooke Buckner shows us why it takes a lot of time and money to solve this issue.
Unsafe, keep out. These are the signs you'll see driving around parts of Little Rock.
It's been a problem for a number of years.
And it's a problem the city says it's working to fix.
We've been more reactive than proactive over the years, but we're trying to get more proactive. In fact, we've got a position open that will handle just vacant commercial buildings, among other things.
Chuck Givens with the city's Building Codes Division says Little Rock currently has at least 50 vacant commercial buildings, which concerns some neighbors.
We do have that issue of people complaining about it, and I would too if it was next door to me.
Property value is part of it. He says vacant buildings can be places to commit crimes, and they're hazardous, especially buildings like this one on Asher Avenue.
And like I said, it's a place for people to come in, it gets on fire, might get their place on fire.
That creates problems for Little Rock Fire Captain Jacob Lear-Sadowski and his crew, because they're the ones who have to put out the flames.
We're not sure, how they're getting in. Are they going through a crawl space and cutting a hole in the floor, which then that poses a hazard for firefighters entering in a smoke-filled environment. A hole in the floor is a bad day.
Captain Lear-Sadowski says between January and March of this year, they've put out at least 10 fires in vacant buildings, and one of them turned deadly. He says a man was staying at a house on Charles Bussey Avenue without permission in January when an unintentional fire started.
Sometimes, there are people there that are in need of medical attention, and we provide that for them. But most of the times, the structures are clear.
Often, he says, people inside these buildings damage or steal some of the materials meant to slow down any potential fire spread.
And during that vandalism and theft, some of the items that are there to prevent the fire spread are destroyed. So sheetrock being exposed and destroyed, exposing the studs, allows for fire to progress quicker.
And the problem isn't just vacant commercial buildings. This is one of the multiple homes with fire damage the city plans to demolish.
We have a large number of vacant homes that we are working as much with the owners as we can, as diligently as we can, to get these rehabilitated and or removed.
Brian Contino manages code enforcement for the city's Housing and Neighborhood Programs Division. While the city deals with dozens of vacant commercial buildings, Contino says vacant homes are an even bigger problem, with around 500 sitting empty across the city.
We want to rehabilitate these properties as much as we can.
Because tearing down has a big price tag. Both residential and commercial divisions each have about $300,000 budgets for tearing down condemned buildings each year. But that money doesn't stretch as far as you might think.
Just like this building, probably between $30,000 and $40,000 probably to take this building down at least. And that's without even knowing if the asbestos is in there.
And now, buildings destroyed in the March 31st tornado are added to the list of ones to keep an eye on.
I think most of those buildings will probably be taken down. I mean, probably redeveloped in some of the areas, or some of them just to the point where they'll just have to be demolished, because of the shape they've gotten into.
As time goes on and buildings either get demolished or rebuilt, Givens wants people to know a lot of time and resources go into these decisions. He says both of those are reasons you may see so many vacant buildings. And it's not just more funding that's needed to help the problem, but streamlining the process it takes to make those tough decisions.
Hopefully, we can be more proactive toward getting rid of some of these buildings.
In Little Rock, Brooke Buckner, THV 11 News.
And Contino says the city has a program where owners can actually donate their property to the city for a tax write-off. It would then go into the city's land bank system where developers can build new housing.
We'll post a link to that information on our website, thv11.com.